The penniless astrologist. Big booty Mona. Even with that asset, she keeps falling in debt. But if you make her upset, you'll soon to regret, cause she's a real threat. That'll make you wet. With her hydro abilities, of course, definitely means nothing else. Anyways, before I start the video, I just want to mention that only a small percentage of you guys are actually subscribed to this channel, so make sure to press that subscribe button because it's free and you can always change your mind.
I almost fell asleep waiting. Fate is upon.
It's not Kaching, it's not Jane, it's not Diluc, and it's not Chi-Chi. Mona, you all wanted her, so here she is. I do want to start out by saying that she's not a complicated character. Her kit's actually pretty easy to understand. The only time things get confusing is trying to make Mona vaporize with her bubble. God, I hate doing that. But I will try to simplify as much as I can to help you guys better understand. So let's go over her abilities. Elemental skill. The bait. Mona sets up a bait, taunting and debating nearby enemies and continuously dealing AoE hydro damage 5 times. Then at the end of the duration, it squirts explodes in their faces with more water. What?
Your arrival is untimely. The morning star has just waned. Breakfast? No, I've already eaten.
Uh-oh.
Noon is upon us. We should eat. I will have a salad, for simplicity is the way of the astrologer.
Uh-oh.
Oh, salad. Salad is by far the best food in the world. Cheap to buy, easy to whip up, filling, and it's the most convenient thing there is when you're working on a column or fixing some equipment. I mean, who's got time for a proper dinner anyway?
Uh-oh. Elemental burst. Mona against the internet. Mona spreads out her astrology watermark, causing a big explosion around the enemies, making them wet and immobile while also applying 2 other things. She applies a bubble and an omen stack. Think of this bubble as a hydro damage time bomb that looks like a constellation, and think of the omen stack as a 2nd degree burn. Have you guys ever had a 2nd degree burn before? Well, it hurts like ass, and it's even worse if you try to damage it. This time bomb can explode naturally by waiting 8 seconds, or can explode by you when you attack them. The cool thing about this time bomb is that it has a pretty large multiplier, so it hits pretty hard. The uncool thing about this time bomb is that it's very fragile and makes things complicated for Vaporize. That's it for her abilities. See? Not that complicated. Now that you know her abilities, let me give you some tips. Alright, story time 1. So one of the most popular characteristics from Mona is the fact that she's poor. But she's not poor because she's not making money. She actually has a job. She has a monthly pay. It's just that whenever she gets paid, she will immediately use her entire fund in astrology-related resources. And this process plays out every month. Today, too, is another day Mona worries over Mora. So she has no one else to blame but herself for this. So let's talk about the intimidating part about Mona, her vaporize mechanic. Don't worry, I'll make it easy to understand. There are 2 ways to make this time bomb vaporize. Option 1, the easier standard way. For Mona's time bomb to do vaporize damage, the enemies with the time bomb must have no element applied to them when the time bomb is attached. This can be difficult since the time bomb is very fragile, like my upload schedule, and will explode if you attack it in any shape or form. So what you do is to apply pyro on the enemies first, and then use Mona's burst to cancel the pyro, which lets the time bomb be attached to the enemies while they have no element applied to them. Then you have to wait 2 seconds because of this thing called ICD, internal cooldown. Then after 2 seconds, you attack them with pyro so it vaporizes with the time bomb. That's pretty much it. Good job, guys. I told you it's not that complicated. Just do that and change absolutely nothing, or else your time bomb won't vaporize. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Anyways, that's option 1. Fuck, I almost forgot about option 2. Option 2, stagger vaporize. Honestly, even I'm not too sure about this one, but if I am wrong, someone can let me know in the comments, and I'll let you guys know in the pinned comment if I did make a mistake, but I'm 90% sure I understand it. So you know when you shoot these poor Hilichurls in the head, they get knocked back? Well, with high interruption resistance, this Hilichurl will just take the shot and won't flinch. People call this the stagger state. Some enemies have shields, and can't be budged. Some enemies go through animations and can't be budged. Basically, they become Scion when he's ulting. You can't stop it, but you can still damage them. While the enemies are in this Scion state, Mona's time bomb will be protected by Scion's ult. So you can deal damage to the enemies with the time bomb and it still won't explode while these enemies are going through these unrelenting animations or just being a casual asshole. So in a way, it's easier to vaporize your time bomb since you don't have to worry about exploding them, but just as challenging to time your abilities correctly and wait for 2 seconds for the ICD while you're going through this impending chaos. And that's it. Those are the basic methods of Mona's Vaporize mechanic. I tried to make this as simple as possible and used some analogies, so hopefully that did help you understand. If it did, leave a like and subscribe.
This should cover food and rent for a while.
Oh no.
Moving on to Mona's passive talents. Passive 1. Mona's sprint is a digless sprint. If you use this sprint for 2 seconds around an enemy, she'll create a weaker version of the bait that baits them but just explodes once. Passive 2. Mona receives a hydro damage bonus based on 20% of her energy recharge. Do not focus on this too much. Passive 3. Mona has a 25% chance to refund the weapon essential materials. Surely. Now for Mona's artifacts. For beginners, just get 4-piece exiles for energy and 2-piece exiles with 2-piece sojourners for energy and some damage. For endgame, we have 3 main artifacts. We have the 4-piece emblem, the 4-piece noblesse, and the 4-piece heart of death. The emblem and the noblesse set is mainly used for burst damage focus and support Mona, so you would usually use this for vaporize and meld comps. Then the 4-piece heart of death would mostly be used for auto attack Mona, usually used in electrocharge teams. But even for electrocharge, I would still recommend the emblem set. So let's go over the artifact primary stats. For Hourglass, energy recharge is probably what you think you should go for because of her passive talent taking advantage of energy recharge for extra hydro damage bonus, but I wouldn't focus on this for my primary stats, and the main reason being 20% of your energy recharge is not that much. So let's say I had 200% energy recharge, which I honestly believe is plenty. Then I would get around 40% hydro damage bonus. However, you're trading that for 46% attack, so generally your burst damage would be low. And even if you are building burst spam support with the emblem set that takes advantage of energy recharge, I would leave the energy recharge problem to your substats, your weapon, or your teammate. Yeah, she's really not like Raiden. So I would recommend attack. You can go for Ultimate Mastery if you're using Vaporize, but I don't like using Vaporize, so it's up to you. If you like consistency, ER is fine, I guess, but generally from my experience, energy is not that difficult to deal with as long as you have a battery unit. So continuing on, for Goblet, hydro damage bonus, and then for Circlet, crit rate or crit damage, whatever you need more. For substats, crit rate, crit damage, attack, and then energy recharge will be your priority. Alright, story time 2. So how did Mona get her vision? I'm sure you guys are curious about this because Mona's vision actually has a Mondstadt symbol even though she's from Fontaine. So this is actually a teaching aid her teacher gave her in order to do astrology stuff, and it happened to be a Mondstadt symboled teaching aid basically, and someday it just turned out to be her vision. So let's go over her weapons. Mona, you probably need attack, crit rate, or crit damage primary stats. If you want to be more consistent, energy recharge is an option, but if you want more damage, attack and crit will be your choice. So for 5-star weapons, Kagura's Verity has amazing stats, but for ability, Mona won't be able to achieve 3 stacks, and her main damage is from her burst, so probably not. Memory of Dust. People look down on this catalyst pretty often, but it gives a huge boost to your shield and your damage, so do consider this weapon if you have it. Skyward Atlas. I hate the ability of this weapon, but pretty good for Mona due to the same reason as the Memory of Dust. Massive attack and ultimate damage bonus. Otherwise, I hate the other ability. Lost Prayers. This is good for stats, but having to be on the field for longer than 16 seconds for maximum buff is kind of annoying. Even more so for a quick swap character like Mona, but still pretty great since it lets you get away with 30% crit rate and that sprint speed. Probably use this more for main DPS Mona. Moving on to 4 stars. The Widths. Honestly, just use the Widths for big damage. There's no downside in using any of these buffs, and the 30-second cooldown is annoying, but I think it's a pretty good trade. The Favonius Codex. You would use this for burst spam Mona. It provides so many particles just for critting. I would use this if you want your Mona burst to be up all the time. Then we have the free-to-play weapon, the Oath Sworn Eye. It's actually okay. If you don't have a good energy recharge weapon, I would probably use this. and the energy recharge from the ability is also applied for the extra hydro damage bonus as well, so it's actually not that bad. The attack percentage is a little low, but the base attack is okay-ish, so I guess it's okay if you use this for freeze comps. Don't expect like a huge amount of damage though. Map of Air, easy to obtain stacks, and the Elemental Mastery definitely helps a lot with reaction damage, and if you don't play this game for a while, I'm pretty sure they give this for free. Then finally, the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers. If you don't care about bonus damage and want to buff your DPS as much as you can, you would probably use this. Probably best for freeze comps.
Venti, the bard that sits around doing nothing all day? What's so interesting about him? Sure, I guess I can take a look. Huh, that's weird. The scry glass, I can't see a thing. This wind, I can't open my eyes. No, my hat, my clothes, stop. The wind's going to strip all my clothes off. Make it stop, make it stop. All right, I'll never do this again.
What? Moving on to teams. In most cases, building Vaporize teams, I mean, yeah, you would build DPS mode. I don't know why I included this in my script. The rest are there to amplify your time bomb. So Bennett to buff, heal, and apply pyro, and a swirl unit, preferably Sucrose, to swirl hydro and then remove the element. Then the final slot can be anyone you'd like depending on the weapon choice, or just a, Shangling. In most cases, I would avoid putting any other elements into this team since they'll disrupt your reactions, which will definitely make things more difficult for your time bomb. For freeze teams, you'll need a freeze DPS and try to make sure to extend the omen stack as much as you can. In most cases, people just use the Morgana teams and be done with it, but there are definitely replacements. And even if the duration of your cryo application is much shorter than Ganyu's insanely unfair 20-second cooldown and duration, there are swirl units with absorption that can help you extend the freeze application. There's also Kaya, Rosaria, the girl who we were stuck with before the 2.7 update, maybe Chungyun, but he'll shatter, and honestly thought there would be more options by now, but yeah, that's it. Electrocharge teams. In most cases, you'll throw in Official and Danaz and a Beidou, and you'll never have to worry about Electro application again. But you'll want Mona on the field as much as possible for the Hydra application, which is why the 4-piece Heart of Death is recommended for this team. I guess you can also use Sara for buffing if you don't want to add in a pyro element like Bennett. Raiden Shogun if you still don't have Official, because when was she ever featured again? Then of course we have Sucrose to swirl and share her Elemental Mastery with the entire team so that the electrocharge damage is consistent. The only missing thing about this team is probably a healer. In about 2 weeks, Kuki Shinobu will arrive and she is going to be a healer, so I guess you can rely on that for now. Right now I'm using Kokomi, but then if I'm using Kokomi, do I really need to use Bona? I mean, for now, I don't think Electrocharge is like the best choice, but it's ultimately up to you guys. In my personal experience, I definitely had a lot more fun with Freeze compared to the other two teams. Vaporize was okay, and I didn't really keep in mind of the step-by-step too much, like you don't really have to, but the fact that you do if you want to maximize your damage is kind of a turn down for me. And then for Electrocharge, I mean, I was okay with it, but I was using Kokomi as a healer, and she pretty much did Mona's job except for the Omen stack, so yeah, I'm just holding that off for Kuki Shinobu right now. But again, guys, ultimately it is your account. You guys are free to do whatever you'd like. I'm just here to help you guys understand about the character. But that is pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Go check out my Twitch. I stream Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 6 p.m. PST. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye, guys.